Inter Milan might have bottled another shot at Champions League glory in embarrassing fashion, fumbled the Serie title, and now it's looking like they could even lose their coach, Simone Inzaghi. For a team that was on top of the world just a year ago, the 2024-25 season has ended in serious frustration. But if you're thinking this is the end of Inter's run, think again. Because what's brewing for next season? That's something nobody's ready for. Going into the 2025-26 season, Inzaghi's squad is shaping up to be something young, deep, and explosive. The kind of shakeup that could flip the whole European football script. You've got to love a team that bounces back even stronger. And if there was ever a time to fear Inter's squad, heading into 2025-26 is definitely it. Like, subscribe, and let's get into it. Okay, let's just call it what it is. Inter Milan hit the jackpot, the Powerball. The football equivalent of finding out your Uber driver is actually Lewis Hamilton in disguise, all thanks to one man, Simone Inzaghi. When Inter Milan appointed Simone Inzaghi, they weren't gambling on some unknown genius hidden in the shadows. The man had a pedigree, experience, and a clear footballing philosophy. But still, I don't think even the most optimistic Inter fan expected this. Under his guidance, Inter have stormed back into Europe's elite like they'd never left. I mean, come on. In his very first season, Inzaghi did what a whole line of his predecessors couldn't. He broke that long, frustrating Champions League group stage curse that had hung around for a decade like an unwanted guest who won't take the hint. You know the one. Then, like it was the most natural thing in the world, he upped the ante. Second season, boom, Champions League final. Inter hadn't been that far in the competition for 13 years. And now, in his fourth season, they've done it twice. Another final. Another chance to write themselves into the history books. This isn't just about qualifying or competing anymore. Under Inzaghi, Inter has become the European opponent no one wants to face. You know that feeling when your team draws Bayern or Real in the knockouts and you sigh because it's probably over before it starts? Yeah, Inter's starting to give off that same energy. But hey, don't give Inzaghi all the credit just yet. Inter's recent rise isn't some solo act. It's a full-on tag team effort. Behind the scenes, the club's management and scouting team have been working hand-in-hand with Simone to build a squad that actually delivers. Right from his first season at Inter Milan, Inzaghi wasn't just tweaking tactics. He was busy reshaping the squad with some savvy signings. Take Hakan Çalhanoğlu, for example, snagged on a free transfer from their city rivals AC Milan. Then, with Achraf Hakimi packing his bags and heading elsewhere, Inter needed a new right wing back who could run like the wind and defend like a wall. Say hello to 6'2" Denzel Dumfries, coming over from PSV Eindhoven for a cool €12.5 million. Not exactly breaking the bank for someone who quickly became a reliable force on that flank. Up front, they added a dose of experience with Dzeko, also on a free transfer from AS Roma. And just to make sure the attack didn't run thin, Joaquin Correa came in on loan from Lazio, with an obligation to buy. A smart move that gave Inter some much-needed depth and flexibility up front. Thanks to these calculated moves, Inter didn't just stay competitive in Serie A. They went on to win the Coppa Italia and the Supercoppa Italiana. After that season closed out, Inter rolled into a new one with fresh faces joining the party and helping them with a place in the Champions League final. Season ends and Andre Onana, who's probably the most adored goalkeeper in Manchester right now, packing his bag to Old Trafford. Marcelo Brozovic, the midfield engine, took his talents to Al Nassr. Milan Skriniar headed to Paris Saint-Germain. And if that wasn't enough to get your heart racing, the legend Semir Handanovic retired after 11 years guarding that goal like a fortress. Jan Sommer, fresh from Bayern Munich, came in to take the goalkeeper reins. Then Benjamin Pavard jumped into defense, bringing that calm, reliable presence every team needs when the pressure's on. In midfield, Davide Fratesi arrived from Sassuolo, and to spice up the attack, Marcus Thuram came in on a free transfer. I mean, free transfers are like finding cash in your old jeans, unexpected but very welcome. Thuram's arrival meant more options and more unpredictability going forward. But with all those smart moves and fresh faces in place, Inter have managed to build a core of players that keep the team ticking. And at the heart of it is none other than the skipper himself, El Toro. If Inter's success has a heartbeat, it's definitely beating through Lautaro Martinez. The Argentine has been quietly holding down the fort ever since his countrymen Icardi and Lukaku bounced. He's not just out there scoring goals, he's doing it consistently to the point that it feels like this guy is underrated. No, seriously, how many strikers have been better than Lautaro at this goal-scoring thing that is not named Haaland or Harry Kane? What do you think? Talk to me in the comment section. Is Lautaro Martinez the most underrated forward in the game right now? He might be doing the job asked of him regularly, but Martinez owes part of his success to his strike partner Marcus Thuram. The Frenchman, who's basically the Swiss Army knife of forwards, is part striker, part creator, all trouble for defenders. Watching their partnership is like watching peanut butter and jelly do their thing. Different, but perfectly made for each other. Then behind them you have Hakan Çalhanoğlu and Nicolo Barella, running the midfield like maestros. Their connection is next level. They've got a secret handshake or some kind of psychic link turning chaos into smooth, beautiful football. But then again, even successful football teams still have to undergo some reinvention every now and again, especially if you've lost out on the big titles time and time again. You can't just keep rolling out the same cast and expect a different movie. Inter knows this, and that's why their summer transfer strategy feels less like a set-in-stone plan and more like walking a tightrope over San Siro. One wrong move, and well, let's just say no one wants to be that guy who signed the next big flop. The intent is clear though. CEO Giuseppe Marotta has partially yelled it from the rooftops. We gotta get younger. And he's not wrong. The average age needs trimming, and that means some tough, maybe even emotional decisions ahead. Inter Milan's squad is quite old. With an average age of 28.5 years, the oldest in the 2024-25 Champions League. You've got veterans like Francesco Acerbi, who is 37, Henrik Mkhitaryan, who is 35, and goalkeeper Jan Sommer, who is also 35. And it kind of showed in the final. Their aging legs couldn't match PSG's youthful energy, leading to a 5-0 defeat. Fatigue and slower reactions showed, especially against PSG's fast attackers, like 19-year-old Desiree Doué. Inter's experience caught them far, but age caught up at the worst time. Francesco Acerbi, the man who gave us that heroic moment against Barcelona, was one of them old ones who got a front seat to PSG's blazing attack. I mean, legend status sealed right there. But here's the thing. The man's 37. That's I've got a favorite seat in the locker room age. His leadership? Invaluable. His €3.5 million salary in a cost-cutting era? Less ideal. If Inter managed to land a younger defender, Acerbi might shift from anchor on the pitch to wise old sage off it, or more likely, say his goodbyes this summer. Someone else who might be seeing the back door is the big Austrian guy himself, Marko Arnautovic. Now look, I don't want to be harsh, but let's call it what it is. The Arnautovic and Correa experiment? Yeah, that didn't exactly slap. Marko Arnautovic managed just 3 goals in 37 appearances. 3. I mean, no disrespect, but if your striker's goal tally starts to resemble a jersey number, that's usually a red flag. As for Correa, man, at this point, even his own highlight reel's probably struggling for fresh content. Mehdi Taremi is another name that is already looking to offload according to Di Marzio. Honestly, the guy just didn't click the way the club hoped. Signing experienced players on free transfers seemed like a smart move at first, but Taremi's been more of a miss than a hit. Sometimes these gambles just don't pay off. Then there's Christian Aslani. Young, talented, but still not quite cemented his spot at San Siro. Word is, he might be on his way out this summer too. Inter's got big plans, and if Aslani can't break through now, they might decide it's better to cash him in and let him find his rhythm elsewhere. Now, the big question is, who are the next names to fill the gap? So with 4 players in their 30s packing their bags and probably their compression socks, Inter's transfer strategy is starting to feel like a college recruitment drive. Youthful reinforcements seem to be the vibe around San Siro these days. And trust me, the names being thrown around are spicy, from Jonathan David to Nico Paz. Alright, if you've never heard of this kid Nico Paz, you're about to get introduced to one of the real deal young talents shaking up Serie right now. This 20-year-old Argentine midfielder has been straight up begging for attention with his performances at Como. Here's the lowdown. Paz moved from Real Madrid to Como in August 2024 for around €6 million. Since then, under the watchful eye of Cesc Fabregas, Paz has been bossing the midfield, dropping 6 goals and 6 assists in just 27 games. Inter Milan's been all over him. They're basically begging to get Paz to San Siro. Javier Zanetti's even pulled some strings with Paz's dad to make things happen. Inter sees this kid as the future, someone who could easily take over from the older midfielders like Mkhitaryan. But Real Madrid isn't just waving him goodbye. Nope, they slipped a buyback clause into the deal. That means they can snap him back up for around €8 million this summer, and the price goes up every year after that. Madrid's got him on a short leash. Word is, Madrid might activate that buyback soon, maybe to strengthen their squad for big tournaments like the Club World Cup. So yeah, the summer's window is going to be a tug of war for Nico Paz, with Inter itching to lock him down and Real Madrid holding the cards. Alright, Switching gears to another name that's buzzing around Inter's summer plans, we've got Jonathan David, the Canadian striker who's been lighting it up at Lille. David's contract with Lille runs out in June 2025, and after 5 years with the club, he's piled up some serious numbers. 105 goals and 27 assists in 221 games. This season alone, he has smashed 23 goals and chipped in 10 assists across 43 matches. Not to mention, he's been turning heads in the Champions League. Inter Milan is definitely eyeing him as a key piece to boost their attack. Word on the street is they've put a 5-year deal on the table, offering around €5 million a year. But here's the kicker. Jonathan David's not quite biting yet because the offer doesn't meet his wage expectations. So negotiations are currently in a bit of a standstill. If things don't work out with Jonathan David, Inter's got some backup plans up their sleeve to keep that attack sharp. One name getting buzz is Santiago Castro from Bologna, a young gun who's caught some serious eyes. The price tag is somewhere in the 35 to 40 million euro range. Not cheap, but if he's the next big thing, it might be worth it. Then there are Joshua Zirkzee and Anjuan Boni, two more exciting talents Inter is targeting for the summer window. They fit the bill perfectly. Young, hungry, with loads of room to grow and, importantly, decent resale value down the line. Boni's teammate Giovanni Leoni is also on Inter's radar, especially with Jan Bissek possibly heading out the door. And don't forget about Morten Fendrup, the Norwegian midfielder from Genoa. After Piotr Zielinski had a bit of a shaky debut season at San Siro, Inter might be looking to shake things up in midfield this summer. And while all the drama with transfer windows is going down, Inter's already locked in Petar Sucic for next summer. This Croatian dude isn't just some random young player. He's a full international with Champions League minutes already under his belt. Inter clearly think he's not just a prospect to stash away, but someone who's going to be showing up to the pitch regularly before you know it. And honestly, when a club trusts a young player like that, you've got to pay attention. If you haven't heard much about Sucic yet, don't sleep on him. This kid's got future starter written all over him. Now, if Inter Milan pull off the transfer strategy they've mapped out, the team heading into 2025-26 could feel like a breath of fresh air. Young, hungry, and still built on a tactical identity that works. What they're creating isn't just a squad refresh, it's a full evolution, shifting from reliance on veterans to a more athletic, future-ready setup without sacrificing the cohesion that made them serial contenders under Inzaghi. The backline would be more mobile, more comfortable building from deep, and less reliant on aging legs. The midfield would lean heavily on energy, ball progression, and vertical run. And the front line? It could transform completely. Expect sharper link-up play, pressing from the front, and attackers who don't just wait for service but actively create it. Inzaghi becomes the glue in all this. His ability to take raw or undervalued talent and plug it into a demanding system is the reason Inter haven't fallen off post-Conte. Letting him go now, when he's finally getting the kind of squad turnover that fits his long-term ideas, would be counterproductive. This rebuild only works if it's guided by someone who understands both where Inter have been and where they're going. And if it all clicks, this could be one of the most exciting Inter sides in years. Not just hard to beat, but genuinely fun to watch. If you made it this far, you're a real one. Seriously appreciate you for rocking with us through all the tactical deep dives and transfer tea. Inter Milan could be cooking up something special next season, and if you blink, you might miss it. But here's the real question. Is this the start of a fresh new era, or are we just watching a soft reboot of the same old storyline? Either way, don't ghost us. Hit that subscribe button, slap the like, and if you're feeling generous, drop your take in the comments. Who should Inter really be building around? And hey, don't leave just yet. Tap on the next video right here. We got more heat coming your way.